White Hat was co-opted to describe exactly that, who's on side and who's not. Now, the Q movement kicked off decades and decades and decades ago when it was understood, and if you read your new American history, which is nothing like you thought it was, they understood there were forces within the US that understood the bad things were happening and the scope and scale of it. And we're only getting a taste of it now. And this movement, this Q movement, it's very real. It's not nonsense. It's not tinfoil hat wearing stuff. Extremely powerful forces are acting for good within the American machinery and have been for decades. And what we're only seeing now, it's not dissimilar, and in fact, in time frame as well. To be honest, you know what? It's just about the same. I remember hearing the story of a form of bamboo that grows 60 years underground, and then when it finally reaches, it doesn't reach the top, when it finally decides to break the surface because the roots just keep traveling laterally, and after 60 years, it'll pop up, and overnight you'll have a wall of bamboo, and that's what the Q movement is like. It's been working in a subterranean way for, metaphorically and literally, for 60 years, and now they're finally coming out into the light and taking out the black hats. That's the short version of it. The QAnons are the people that follow it. There's a lot of people that pretend to know what's going on, and they try to make hay, and they try to get hits and views and thumbs up and likes and the rest of it. But the fact is, it's real, and thank God for it, because without it, Australia would be facing a 50, 100-year guerrilla war to take back our nation. So they're doing what they do. We do what we do. And to be honest, folks, if you're listening, we must be worthy of their efforts, because, my God, what they are going through beggars description. It defies description. And so, folks, when I get a bit animated, it's because I hear stories like Carl does and a bunch of others of what's going on. And you can't be bothered to come to Canberra for a weekend. Seriously. I made a statement. I was asked to make a statement for Donald Trump's birthday. And it was very brief. And I said, we're aware of what the sacrifices you have made, are making, and will continue to make. And Australia has incurred a debt that we will never be able to pay, but it is one we will always remember. And those words didn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people about a month and a half ago when I said them. But when the time comes and people realize what has been done, a lot of the loudmouths out there, best you to shut the fuck up and say thank you. Not to me, but to the people who are really working hard, risking all to save our miserable, ungrateful Australian lives.